No, I'm not.
All right. Melvin, you got to turn your mic back on.
Let me mute.
All right. I take it we go ahead and get started. That's my moderator. Which, yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'm definitely not in the right place. Okay.
All right. There we go. All right. We are live. Let's get started. First off, I guess we'll start off with intros. Thanks, guys, for joining us. I definitely have missed cons. So I was excited that we are able to do this panel, and thank y'all for accompanying me. This is the Relationship Goals or Doom Superhero Edition panel, and I am Gamma Ray Cosplay. I will be pretty much moderating and just kind of facilitating the discussion. And I am joined by my illustrious and dope friends and crew. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves real quick. Venom, you want to start?
DJ Young Venom. I'm owner and operator of Offbeat here in Jackson, Mississippi, and a longtime geek, video game aficionado, Violator All-Star DJ, and dad and husband.
Kai.
Hi, I am Kai. Like Gamma Ray, I am a lawyer by day, otaku always. I have a manga tube and booktube channel called Kaitaku on YouTube as well as on Instagram. And I talk about manga as well as various books. I kind of read across all genres. And so it's a chance for me to share my love with all of you.
Dope. Melvin.
I'm Melvin Robinson, content creator. Yeah, these headphones are really good. Melvin Robinson, content creator in Mississippi. I have a company called 242 Creative, and we just opened another section of 242. Well, no, this is a separate company called Creative 65, where we do content for cannabis companies.
Dope. All right. Well, as I said, I'm Gamma Ray Cosplay, lawyer by day, cosplayer by night, geek always, and let's just dive in. So pretty much what we'll be discussing is like the various superhero couples and their relationships. I mean, it's hard enough dating as is, especially in today's world. We have social media, online dating apps, crazy exes, and now COVID on top of all that. So just adding a cape and superpowers, I'm pretty sure that could make for some interesting situations. So first off, we're going to start with our couple. Of course, I mean, it's Black History Month, why not? Storm and Black Panther. I'm pretty sure everybody who's tuning in is very familiar with this couple. They were childhood sweethearts. Obviously T'Challa, Black Panther, he is the ruler of Wakanda, and we have Storm, aka Aurora. She is I like to call her the queen of the Serengeti, but one of my favorites. She is a known member of the X-Men. In some storylines, they've been known to get married and have kids, or, definitely got married and divorced. But their backstory is that Storm was ready. She loved him. I mean, she was willing to be with him even before she just really knew or cared that he was the king of Wakanda, or had all this clout for himself. But like most men, T'Challa wasn't ready, and he wanted to go off and live life and explore things. And once he kind of had his feel, then he decided, all right, I'm ready to settle down, let's get married. So my question, essentially, I will pose to the group, so y'all feel free to chime in. Will a man only propose when he's ready, even though a substantial amount of time has passed in a relationship? And if so, like, why is that? I mean, this couple was together for some years on and off. And yeah, he just was like, nah, I'm gonna wait till I've kind of been a rolling stone. So who wants to take a first crack?
I will. Why not? So I don't think, male or female, that anyone should leap into shackling themselves to another human being if they're not ready. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to be like, well, we've been together 7 years, so we should get married now. If you're not ready, that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, I don't understand why people put these like time clocks on things. Like, I got to have the job by this age and the marriage by this age and the kids by this age. And it's like, yeah. And then after 10 years of marriage, he regrets everything because he wasn't ready to get married yet. And now everything's crumbling. So I do think that there is an exploration that has to happen, because do you really know who you are in your 20s? Like, at all?
I didn't.
Exactly. So, I mean, how do you really just be like, I mean, we've been together since childhood, we've been together since high school, I'm not particularly ready, but you think it's time, let's go. I think that's just a super disaster.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the same person I was in my early 20s. Because I definitely had that time clock. I was like, all right, going to graduate and be married by 25, first baby by 27, and like career, yeah. And once I hit that age, I was like, I can barely take care of myself, much less another individual or another human being having kids. Like, so yeah, I quickly went out the window. Gents, y'all want to chime in? I was about to say, Venom, you're married, so let's.
Yeah, I'm married. I mean, this T'Challa's and Aurora's relationship wasn't never going to work to begin with if they've been dating on and off for so, quote unquote, so long. And they come from like really two like vastly different backgrounds, with him being a prince and her pretty much being poor her entire life. He couldn't relate. He wasn't able to meet with her in the middle in a lot of things. So they weren't, people shipped them together like, oh, they're Black and they're two most popular Marvel characters. So I hate that the relationship even happened, because it kind of diminishes both of their characters a bit. Because at one point it was just like you couldn't see one without the other, when they were very strong characters by themselves. And plus they weren't ever, like I said, they weren't ever going to work out to begin with, even if they have been on and off as long as they said they were, which bullshit that they I don't know. I've always, a lot of these comic book relationships we're going to talk about, I really like people just forcing shit. And it's just like the next one we're going to talk about is going to be, I got a lot of words on that one.
All right. Melvin?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna say this. I didn't even know they dated until like 3 years ago when Venom told me. I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's what's up. And then, cause like the dude who wrote House Party wrote that storyline, right?
Word?
I'm asking Venom that.
Oh,
Melvin?
The dude that wrote the Storm and Black Panther storyline, he wrote House Party, right? It was Reginald
Yeah, Reginald Hudlin.
Yeah, Reginald Hudlin. Yeah, so it was already gonna be lame, but but yeah, man. I mean, it was cool, but it does seem like it was just like, hey, we got two Black people. Like, hey, y'all are Black. you like baseball? Here you go. Like it's just like going to a school with not that many like black people, and it's like, oh hey, y'all are black. Why don't y'all, do that and all that stuff there? But yeah, I mean,
Donald Faison and Stacey Dash and Clueless.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that didn't make sense because like Donald Faison, he wore like windbreakers, so that means he
Bruh.
sold dope in the '90s. And Stacey Dash was a preppy girl. So, but yeah, I mean, it was cool from what I saw. I hate it didn't work because they would have like some cool babies.
I mean, I was feeling. Look, I'm all for Black love, and I was here for it. I mean, but you're right. I will agree that the way that their relationship played out, it just I feel like it low key made Storm look weak, or that she just was like thirsting for a guy, and I'm just like, she is like Omega level X-Men. She literally can destroy a country if she wanted to. Like, she is one bad bitch. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we are all in agreement because, like I said, this is, the panel relationship goals are doomed. It sounds like I'm kind of on the fence, but I feel like based on what y'all are saying, this relationship approach, our couple is doomed. They are not goals, nothing to strive for, but I think we all equally love the characters separately.
Yeah, and T'Challa's pretty lame anyway, if you just think about it. Like he was definitely
We're
like
not going to even
in
let
Jack
you
and Jill. He was like in Jack and Jill and like Beauty and Bo, and like yeah, he was definitely like one of them dudes like you wouldn't really want to just hang around. Like he had a Mustang probably, like in
I
high
can
school,
definitely see
just
that.
or
One
a
of those guys.
Wakanda equivalent of a Mustang, like a Gazelle or whatever they would call their Mustang.
I'm
So
not even about
yeah.
to let you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. So our next couple. I'm gonna switch things up. I feel because this couple is obviously what's hot right now. Because of their TV show, Scarlet Witch and Vision. So I think we're all kind of pretty much familiar with how that relationship is. We have, Wanda. She has these hex powers that she got from the which stone? Was it the Mind Stone? One of those Infinity Stones. Anyway, sure, Venom will chime in and correct me. And we have Vision, who does have the Mind Stone, but he was a human android, and they were pretty much notable for being like in a relationship together. Obviously, no spoilers, but I think everybody knows that Vision died in game, but he's back somehow. We're not gonna spoil the WandaVision series. We'll try to, in case anybody's watching that hasn't caught up. But yeah, for the most part, I think we can see that Wanda's having difficulty of moving on and letting things go. So I feel like this relationship is the true definition of not moving on, not letting go. I mean, I think there's a ton of R&B songs out there that this is the anthem of. It's just like, I was listening to Heather Headley the other night, and she was like, in my mind, you're gonna always be like, I won't always be your girl, you won't always be mine. It's just kind of like, I think you should let it go. But so I mean, like, what do y'all think? Like, is as far as, so my question is, have y'all ever, like, what to y'all is the definition or like just issues of with moving on? Do you feel like that it's something that should be easily done? Do you kind of feel like people kind of go through the motions, but obviously Wanda just took it to a whole nother level? Or is it just like when it's over with, like, who wants to hit it first?
I think closure is a joke. Like a lot of people look for closure, and it's like, yeah, man, like it's over, and unless someone like ghosted you or just did something like super wrong, like that caused trauma or something, I could see like people having hangups on that. But a lot of things like people see as like trauma with relationships ending is just like, no, that's just a relationship that ended, you know. And a lot of people are like, you know, I need closure on that. And I've done that before. Like I had a breakup where I was like listening to the same music for like 6 months. Like, man, I'm gonna get my girlfriend back, and I didn't. And you know what? It was very good for me not to do that. And I thought I wanted closure, but I just found out like, oh no, I don't. I just gotta, you know, let this go. You know, my girlfriend also didn't die in a intergalactic battle. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. You know, she just did what she did. But yeah, you know, I could definitely see Wanda being affected by that, especially looking at her like backstory and everything. At least with the MCU, you know, I know mostly MCU stuff, not that much as far as like the lore and the history in the comics. But looking back on the MCU, I could understand how she's, you know, messed up. Like she's already lost her brother, and now this robot man, she lost him. And Thanos was just like, I will say this: Thanos a cold guy because he was just like, baby, I don't even know who you are. When she was like, you ruined my life, he was like, baby, bro, I just got here. Like, yeah, I always like that part. But yeah, I understand.
I ruined a lot of people's lives. Sorry.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I somewhat disagree with the whole closure thing. I do think closure is a little bit of a myth. But I do think in the current climate, no one has actual adult conversations. And so I feel like a lot of times a breakup is just like, all right, well, I'm done with you. And it's like, okay, why? Like, can we have an adult conversation as to why this is over? But again, most people like run on their emotions. And I am not a very emotional person, according to my exes. Apparently that was the problem in those relationships. I needed more emotions. But I do think that there's a conversation that can be had because a lot of times one side of the couple has a vision of what the relationship is, and that's why the relationship is ending. But the other side doesn't share that because there's been no communication to meet somewhere in the middle. And I think that kind of cuts off some of that processing time. But when you have something so abrupt, like what happened to Wanda, like how do you really process like something that's sudden happening in the middle of an intergalactic war, which, you know, hopefully, well, we've got a space force now, so we may have an intergalactic war. Who knows? But hopefully, you know, no one really ever has to come into that sort of situation. But I think it's the same way of when someone ghosts you or like all of a sudden it's like, boop, they're gone. And it's like, why? Like you couldn't be woman enough or man enough to just be like, look, you ain't got a lot of emotions. You're emotionally stunted. I need someone who's going to coddle me. So I'm moving on.
I feel you on that. Just be upfront.
Somebody who stayed with a walking vibrator for a good couple of months, and then they watched this walking vibrator die twice. Once they took the batteries out themselves, then they see somebody else take the batteries out.
I can't stay.
Women need their vibrators. I'm sorry. I think I need you to know the attachment women have to those.
Oh, I understand. And then she hasn't had time to like really like grieve. It's been like 3 weeks, I guess. Yeah. It's been like 3 weeks. So and not having like a full month to like really process and then actually coming back to life yourself. So you kind of do need like a closure period when ending a relationship. Sometimes that takes the form of listening to The Weeknd for 6 months, like my man Melvin.
Or Drake
or Frank Ocean. It can be some dark periods before you start listening to trap in the strip clubs again. But you know, you get that point back where you know you have a sense of normalcy, and like everybody who has had a decent conversation has had a terrible breakup at some point in their life, and then you get to that point where you're just like, okay, this is gonna have to happen, and then you're like, no, this can work out, and you try to. It's like steps of grief, I guess, and it's one of those things, like it's one of those things you've committed so much energy into something that it gets harder to let go of, kind of like when you lose something of importance, where it is a family member or a piece of you that you invested in is gone with that.
Yeah. What's the saying? It takes half as long as you were with the person to get over them. So if you're with somebody for a year, it'll take you about 6 months to be able to move on and so forth. But the other thing is the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody new. I don't know how accurate that is, but I mean, that's just what I heard, I'm just saying.
It's very accurate.
All right. So, so next couple is, before we move on, and also people who are tuning in, thank y'all for watching this. But if y'all have any questions or comments or anything like you want to pose to us, the panelists, please feel free to drop those in the chat. I'm watching and monitoring that. So Scarlet Witch and Vision. To the level of what Scarlet Witch has done on trying to find her closure, would we say that this is relationship goals or doom? Would you want to be in such a strong relationship with a person when it ends that they can't move on? Or is it just doomed because somebody is bound to, as Venom said, the batteries get removed and they die? I'm gonna go with doomed because it's a little bad.
Yeah, you better bring me back to life if you can. Like,
I
don't want to stay there yet. Like,
can we get the seven, the Dragon Balls? Like, can somebody make a wish? But
yeah,
might be.
You got baby, bring me back. Yeah, I want to chill out.
All right. So next couple, we got Gambit and Rogue. I think this is a couple that, I just love them for their accents alone, just from the TV show. It's just share, just I love it. Even though slight country twang, but I feel like that's what you get when you mix New Orleans accent and Southern slang, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so we got Gambit and Rogue, their relationship. I mean, they literally are your average soap opera couple. More breakups than we can count, but with every breakup, they end up getting back together. They're always at each other's throats. And literally, if nobody's familiar with Rogue's powers, she can never physically touch another human being because she will zap their entire life force and either put them in a coma or they'll probably die. But that has never deterred Gambit. He's I love you, Cher. We are going to be together. We're gonna figure this out. So, and they both had similar childhood experiences, which is what connected them, and they were able to kind of grow and develop a deeper relationship just based off of that. So, my question is though, with Rogue being, obviously she can't touch anybody. I mean, like I said, death is very imminent if she physically interacts with another human being. I feel like that goes a lot to what we're experiencing today with COVID. So what is being in a relationship? What is dating like, during the pandemic? I mean, you literally can't risk contact with another individual, especially if you're trying to meet somebody new or start a new relationship, or even, heaven forbid, if your loved one within the same household is sick, you can't really be around them, just to reduce, spread and getting yourself sick as well. So, I mean, what does that look like? I mean, how do you interact? How do you meet people? How do you find a relationship? How do you keep the relationship if you already have one going? So what's it look like?
Well, I stay my black ass at home, but I already started dating a woman before the pandemic. So we had, began our relationship before the pandemic, and it was still a pretty new relationship when the pandemic started. And I mean, she's pretty safe, and she wasn't going out like that. So we can interact with each other because I told her like, hey, you know, I can't go over to my mom's house and get her sick because I wanted to go out and get some wings or something. So it's just that kind of, it's just that kind of dynamic there where I trust her enough to know she's not going to go out and be reckless, so I can be around her fully and comfortably. And yeah, that was cool. Now, if I was single, I don't know what I would do because you really don't know who's doing what. And even in a relationship, you really don't, unless you live with that person. We don't live together or anything. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what I would do if I was just single at this time because it just, it's a lot. And, a lot of people are yearning for human interaction. And I think a lot of people have hit this pandemic wall where it's like, hey, we're almost a year in now. Like, we got stuff and to kind of, combat the virus and everything like that. But it's still like missing the human interaction and missing, if you've been just sitting at the house, like not doing anything and just missing the interaction that can really cause you to cause you to be a gambit. Like, hey, baby, I don't care. We're
Right.
gonna be here. What it is, cough
Because
on me.
because it's not even about just like physical in the sense of like, a sexual aspect. It's like just the holding another human being's hand, a kiss, just sitting next to someone, rubbing legit elbows and touching shoulders on the couch, watching a movie. Like all that stuff, today is risky if somebody new, and like Melvin said, like you don't know what folks are out here doing or and stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like that was a risk with Gambit and Rogue. Like they couldn't even do those simple things. Okay, Venom.
I think I'm the only single person on the panel. Yeah, you're married, you're dating. Okay, I'm the only single person on the panel. I find it interesting though, because like introverted and extroversion are like a spectrum. And like on the spectrum, I'm like really over here on introverted. So like when the pandemic happened and they were like, we need everybody to go home, I was like, we're going home. It's gonna be great. And then everybody was like, we have to have Zoom meetings because we have to see each other and we have to have this human contact. And I cannot tell you how exhausted I was because everybody else was looking for human contact. And I was like, yay, I got to go home. So I think it really just depends on, because I find the Gambit and Rogue thing very interesting because there gets to a certain point where you know what to expect from your partner. So he knows that there's going to be no touching, no kissing, no anything of that because it's a life or death situation. And he has literally gone, I still choose to be with you when we're on and we're not fighting. And so I think that that's a decision that has to be made because I'm also ace. And so that's like a decision that has to be made when you're like, okay, where are the lines? Where are the boundaries? And in a pandemic, I don't even understand how you meet someone. Like I have friends who are dating during the pandemic and they're all doing it on like apps and like meeting people on apps and talking on apps and then like going for socially distanced, staring at you across the park, like dates. And I just think it's the weirdest thing because how do you truly get to know someone like that, which is completely different from Rogue and Gambit who know each other. They know each other's background and so they know what they're getting into with the whole not touching versus like COVID. I'm not going to risk it. I don't know you or like you enough like that to risk it because I just met you on a random computer app. So how about this? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to watch anime. I'm going to read manga. And like only contact me if it's an emergency. Or like it's my billable hours because, we got to bill hours.
I was about to say, you definitely got to get them billable hours in.
Got to bill them hours. Pandemic don't care. Law firm don't care about the pandemic. Got to build them hours.
They don't.
I can't speak on dating because I've been married for so long. But I do know that with Gambit and Rogue, Gambit is a creep to begin with, so he doesn't know that no means no. He still pursues this woman. She's gone off and dated Iceman of all people. He dated like a bunch of women at one point. In another dimension, she married Magneto because he made some machines so they can actually have a kid and have sex and stuff. With Iceman, I think he just had like a whole ice condom on, so I think that's just his deal with how they hooked up. So
it makes sense.
How horny was Magneto to be like, you know what I'm gonna do, bro? I'm gonna make a machine. Like, bro,
I feel
you
like
really
that's
want
the definition of like the men
I feel like men
in
would
general.
yeah,
like
men would do that.
Yeah.
That's
I
exactly
want
man thing.
her-
Magneto, like, I am going to
what I need to
use
do.
my powers of magnetism to make a machine to have sex. Like, Jesus.
Right.
Hey man,
Woman.
I've seen men do crazier things. So
Yeah. I mean, there's been crazier things done, but yeah, with the whole pandemic and in lines of the pandemic of Rogue and Gambit, it's kind of that, like Kai was saying, like it's the same kind of, they know each other already. She knows that Gambit is trifling. He knows that Rogue just be doing whatever. She'll be a villain one day, then she'll be like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm leader of the X-Men." The next, so I mean, those two, they can work out if they wanted to, but I think it's just because, oh, you're from over here. I know your mama and them because you from Louisiana and I'm from Mississippi. So let's hang out because I like Southern food. I like soul food. I like gumbo. Yeah, let's be together. So yeah.
yeah, I think I think y'all made good points. Like they, as crazy and toxic as their relationship might kind of have been in development, they knew each other. They knew what they were getting into. They were fine with accepting the risk, and taking that risk of just being together in some capacity. However, dealing with the pandemic and COVID, like I'm with Kai, I'm just like, I don't know you, so you sit over there, like like let's just keep this separate. Luckily, I'll say, being married, I don't have don't have to worry about that. But I definitely feel for people trying to find those human interactions because we need it. Because I'm a huge extrovert, like huge extrovert. I like being around people all the time, house parties, hanging out. Yes, let's do it. But I seem to attract a lot of introverts in my life. There's something to that. I don't know why. But yeah, so when the pandemic hit, I was like, wait, you mean we can't have a random house party and people come over? Like if they do, I could get sick. It's like, no, I'm straight. But I'm getting used to it. I mean, it's not as bad, but I will say it's definitely having to take a different approach. Virtual aspect, I'm pretty sure everybody's virtual it out. But I mean, that's just kind of what we have to do. I feel like if Rogue and Gambit had those options, like they still would be like, yeah, we probably could FaceTime each other, but like I'm about to just come over and risk it. Because like they don't say he was a creep, apparently. So yeah, I think we can all, I don't know. Like y'all tell me. So would y'all say
Married before too? I forgot to mention that.
How long was he married?
He was married to like, she was like the leader of the League of Assassins or something.
Mm.
Yeah, that was his wife.
Yeah,
he just left her. He just like, I'm gone. I don't even think he properly filed for divorce.
He don't seem like the guy who
Is there a proper filing for divorce in this whole multi-universe thing?
Like people just
Gambit doesn't seem that litigious. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I gotta find these documents at the courthouse and this like
the real question is, did they legally get married? Like
Gambit just showed up with a ring he stole, like, hey, you want to do this?
We together.
I feel like that's what most guys do anyway, kind of, but that's just another topic. I think we're all in the consensus that this wouldn't be goals. This would be doom. I would say. Yeah, we're not finding a lot of relationship goals here so far. Maybe, we still got a couple more couples left. We got some time. Again, anybody who's tuning in, got any questions, please drop them in the chat. We'd love to hear from y'all.
There's a couple of questions, Ray, in the Q&A tab.
Oh, let's see what we got. It's funny that they mentioned this because we're actually about to go. This is our next couple. The question was, if you are a top-tiered, super powered individual, would you bother getting romantic with a non-powered? Thank you for whoever posed that question, because that segues us into our next superhero relationship couple, Superman and Lois. Literally everybody, if you've been living under a rock, I think everybody knows who Superman and Lois Lane are. Superman, aka Clark Kent. Lois Lane accepted Clark being Superman and vice versa. It's like weird. I can't remember who technically she fell in love with first. Venom, do you know? Just off the top of your head, was it Superman and then like, oh, I kind of like Clark. Oh, they're the same person, or was it Clark? Ooh, I see you, Superman.
No, she
Y'all
like
the same person.
I mean, she saw she's like, oh, this man flying around in red underwear outside of his blue pants.
I want it.
Those were like the 1960s gray sweatpants back then, apparently.
That
so
is that you might be right.
She fell in love with for the Clark.
Yeah.
He just moved to like Metropolis from fucking bumfuck Smallville, so he ain't really he ain't seen no real baddies until he like, oh
yeah.
He like, oh,
he and Kansas having hold-downs in a damn cornfield.
They were having
in the barn.
Like, corn-fed man. Do not knock a sturdy corn-fed man. Okay, they can work on the house. They lift things. Don't knock a sturdy.
Yeah, alien.
I mean, yeah, but he looked like a man, so that's what we're gonna go with. But yeah, so Lois, she very, power dynamic. I mean, to me, she's the definition of like an alpha female. She's a go-getter. I mean, she's very successful in her career. I think more successful than Clark in the sense of like with the newspaper and reporter aspect. But on the other hand, you have Superman, a legit alien from Krypton, a super powered individual saving the planet every day. And they end up being together. Like, for the most part, have a very successful relationship. But I mean, Lois Lane doesn't need Superman. I mean, he is literally the definition of like putting on a cape, trying to save a hoe out here. Like but she don't need him. She's just like, I want to be with you, but don't get it twisted. Like, I can legit do bad all by myself. I feel like Lois never let herself try to be, well, she definitely probably gave pushback to trying to be overshadowed by the persona of Superman and what he brought to the table. But also it could be flipped, like I said, with her career being more successful in this other persona as Clark. So I'm wondering, does it matter, as the person said, like, does it matter for a non-superpowered to, be with a superpowered individual? And what does that look like as far as almost like in the spotlight, limelight? I feel like, obviously, unfortunately, if associated with superpowers, you either are in the limelight or popular, or whether making more money using your powers or some kind of capacity. Does that matter in a relationship? Like, how does a man handle, or not even man, how does a significant other handle their other partner having, more clout? Like, hold my purse, hold my bag, let me shine. You just kind of stand in the background while I have my moment. Or I'm making more money, so this is what we're gonna do.
I mean, I think as far as the superpowers goes, I really just think it depends on what you can handle, because I think I could be the person with the superpowers dating someone not with the superpowers, but I don't think I could be the person not with the superpowers dating someone with the superpowers, because like I'm not about to sit here at home worried day in and day out that somebody finally found some kryptonite, put it in their gloves, and they, punching you and like, with all your weaknesses and stuff. And I got to be there like, well, I hope he doesn't die because I can't do anything. Like I can't do, I can write an article. I can write you a bomb article, baby boo, but I can't go out there and help you when Lex Luthor has finally, decided, well, this is the one time I'm going to take him out. So I think I could be the person with the superpower and be like, yeah, I'll date you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure that you don't get kidnapped and put on hanging off of buildings and whatnot. I'm going to make sure you okay. We're not going to have this whole Spider-Man Mary Jane situation where she's just hanging off of buildings and he got to go save her. So like, I'm going to make sure that you don't get kidnapped and it'll be great. But I don't want to be the person being kidnapped. But it's like also in like a real world, similarity. I don't know if I could marry another lawyer. I don't want to come home and talk business every day. I don't know if I can marry another superhero. I don't want to come home and talk business every day. Don't want to do it. I don't want to come home and be like, okay, how many cities did you save today? Have they found your weakness? Did you enjoy the Justice League meeting? I thought it was a little boring myself. I don't want to come home and talk business all day, every day. So, I mean, I really just think it's going to depend on like the actual partner, but like I'm here to have superpowers and date a normie. But I'm not going to be the normie in the relationship. That's just not happening.
I feel you on that. I definitely feel like somebody's going to have a complex in the relationship, whether it's the superpower or the non-superpower. I feel like in this case with Lois and Superman, Lois Lane might have a complex of being like you said, like, I ain't trying to stress and worry about you. Like, I got plans. Like, I couldn't even finish this article I was supposed to write because I'm worrying about you out there saving the world and dying because somebody found some kryptonite. Or it could be on the flip side where you got Superman, where in his day-to-day as Clark Kent, Lois is winning all these, Pulitzer Prizes and award-winning articles and on the front line and limelight, and he's just like sitting in the background, like holding her purse. He might just be like, "Hey, little do y'all know, I take these glasses off, y'all gonna be like, Superman." But yeah, so I'm just gonna be a normie dating a normie.
Winning all that stuff because she writing articles on him, so they kind of working off each other. So she was like, "Oh yeah, I was there when Superman beat Brainiac to death, and this is what happened. And here's like, oh Lois, here's a Pulitzer Prize." Superman's like, "Nigga, I'm tight, beat a nigga to death. That was like gonna blow up Metropolis. What the fuck?
Like, where's my award?
Right, where's my damn award? Like, and you don't give me a rock? This aggro crag that can kill me." But go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, like they kind of work opposites attract, and like she said, people, you don't want to talk to somebody that has like too many similar interests with you. My wife, for example, she's very reserved, and I can be very like boisterous on stuff. Like, she's very frugal, and I'm like, okay, let's just spend this money that we got this stimmy, let's go. So we kind of work off each other like that. So their relationship can work, surprisingly, considering you got Lois, raised in the city, then you got Clark. Like, they're very opposite, and like human, alien, like body types shouldn't even match up. So yeah, they're one of the few cases they actually work and can get along as far as relationships go. And I think it's probably because they're so ingrained into pop culture as well. And I know people probably like, well, I said that about, T'Challa and Oro, but T'Challa and Oro, they just didn't have like a fucking real story. They were just like, oh yeah, they met each other as kids when T'Challa walked past her on the dirt in the street or whatever while she was stealing apples. And it just does not, that their Lois and Clark's dynamic works better than T'Challa or Storm's.
I could date a superhero and be normal because I want Wonder Woman to punch me in the chest, just just stomp me in the
Well,
leg, baby.
somebody asked, they were like,
Football
so
doing it too.
I love it.
D in the chat asked, if you were the normal person in the relationship or the normie, and you hooked up or dated a superpowered individual, would you keep your day job?
Yes.
Or would you be like,
No,
Yes. What?
I'm not. No,
Why?
you better go beat up
Hey,
our mortgage lender and be like, hey, don't charge us nothing. Like,
No, I'm keeping
I'll
the job.
cook.
I've been already said it. My goal is to be second or third wife to a very, very wealthy person. And I'm still gonna work part-time. I'm gonna plan these galas. I'm gonna be a philanthropist because I'm not sitting in the house all day. And then you out there beating people up and people beating you up. So I'm supposed to not work during the day so that I can sit at home more and worried about whether or not you're gonna die. And then I gotta go job hunt. I'm not job hunting in this economy. I'm not job hunting in this
I
economy.
ain't gonna worry if they gonna die because they actually gonna like work on their. They aren't like Jessica Jones. It's just like, oh, I can do this stuff, but I don't ever work on it. It's like, no, like you're Wonder Woman. Like beat their ass, babe.
I can jump really
have
high.
pizza ready. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like punch me in the chest, beat them up. I will cook. Rope me up. I love you, baby.
You sound like a good true definition of a ride or die. You like, I'm just here for whatever for your needs. Just let me know.
I'm here for the needs too. But we don't work now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like they said, honey, you need to be accepted that award, man. Like, yeah, I will take care of the bills. I will take care of the planning and everything. You go out, do your thing, fight Lex Luthor, Calendar Man, all those dudes. Do your thing, baby, and I will take care of the QuickBooks. I will take care of the internet bills. Like I'm fine.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would we? So what do y'all say? Would Lois and Superman be goals, or you think they? I'm gonna say I feel like they're goals. They seem to have, like Venom said, like they kind of pivot and bounce, off each other. Like
Yeah, they work. Like in Superman, he got like a giant man cave in Antarctica. So when he get tired of her shit, he just fly away. Be like, man, I ain't gotta take this. You got this apartment. I'm gonna go.
I got a crystal palace.
I got
like,
a ice.
Yeah.
And then inside that, I got a miniature city with my people in it. I can go hang out with. Like, I can go to the Phantom Zone. Like, you can just dust off and like cool his head. Be like, all right, I'm back. What you mad about now? Because I ain't get groceries. Let me go fly.
Yeah, because I get sitting at home and you off on Crystal Cities all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I a job because Melvin didn't have me quit my job. And you off gallivanting all over the place. I'm coming too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming too. If I ain't got a job, I'm coming too.
You can't treat him like Postmates. That's messed up.
I'm coming too. Where we going? Okay, I see you there, boo.
Yeah. Be like, who takes?
Do they have strip clubs in that city?
Probably.
I believe so.
They got that nightlife. All right, so let's see. So next couple. Let's see. Let's talk about this will be a good one. Beast Boy and Raven. Yeah. My boy, I think Beast Boy, he tugs at my heartstrings because I've never seen anybody he just puts it all out there, lays it out for Raven. He love him some Raven. He can't get enough of her. He done wrote songs about her. He's taking all her mean jabs and insults, and he's still gonna be the first one to show up, be like, what you need, I still love you. I mean, you just being mean to me because you love me. Like, we're gonna be together one day, girl. You just wait and see. I believe he has saved her on more than one occasion. But Raven he's just like not going. Like, I'm not about to give you no play. Like, have to curve you right
Ain't
here.
her daddy the
but
devil?
Something of the sense. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'll leave her alone.
But Beast Boy is literally beyond thirsty for Raven. And what is What are y'all thoughts on that? Just when you legit out here just being thirsty for somebody and they not reciprocating, like, do you just try to change tactics? Do you need to like cut it? I mean, or is what you consider what Beast Boy's been doing, is that considered thirsty? I do, but y'all might disagree.
He clearly sees something. Yeah. He kind of thirsty. He clearly sees something that is, or he probably sees that Raven's like super introvert too, and that goes back to that whole opposites kind of attract thing. But she's probably not even like, oh, I'm doing my own thing. I got these books to read, these spells to learn, and this horny teenage boy who can change into a snake is bothering me. Like Raven is like, I'm trying to go to Hot Topic. Beast Boy's trying to go to Hollister. It's not meshing. So it's one of those lost causes for Beast Boy, and like they're young, so you're gonna make dumb decisions and who you fall in love with. Matters of the heart, as Melvin would say. It just is what it is. So it's not gonna work. In the cartoon sense, it can be like glimmers of hope, and she might take pity on him. It's that whole Laura Winslow, Steve Urkel kind of thing, where with Beast Boy and Raven, like he really wants this to happen, and she's just like, no, you're not my type, or I'm not interested. And he just like, well, I'm gonna break you down one day, and then and he'll turn into like a dog or something, and it'll be just weird after that. So yeah, that relationship just sucks in the cartoon. And Beast
Boy
Boy
is thirsty.
he has a run of terrible relationships, and with Tara too. Like he just didn't see all the signs, and he was so in love. And turns out she's like a psychopath that tries to kill him, and he's still in love with that. So he got a type.
Yeah, that's definitely got a type. Young girl.
Laura Winslow was kind of trash though. I don't even know why
they ended up together
like,
though.
Urkel, you like, yeah, after he became an astronaut and got stuck in space.
Hey,
yeah,
but that
you want me now because I'm an astronaut.
This whole like being for her to notice him.
Bro, he changed his DNA. He made a machine that changed his DNA.
See? Me and Kai said men make machines when they want to get with a girl.
Look,
Laura Winslow.
His entire goal was to get her. Why does it matter if he ultimately got her? Huh?
Laura Winslow always got in some dumb trouble. She didn't have a job.
Raven.
She wasn't the best student. It's
like
Laura Winslow.
Okay, but you just said we were gonna quit our job anyway. So why does it matter? He got the money. He an astronaut now. You already said we were quitting the job when we get with the main. Look, no, you can't do both. Either we get in the job.
You're right.
I think we can agree that being that thirsty for an individual, unless at the end of the day you do somehow manage to get with them, might not be relationship goals. Yeah, I ain't out here trying to be thirsty for nobody. I was a little thirsty for my husband because I love him so much, but that's a whole nother thing. He won't admit it. Let's see. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. So I'm gonna end this with one of the most notable toxic relationships in the superhero comic book realm. Harley Quinn and Joker. I think that is the definition cycle of physical abuse, psychological abuse, where the cycle just doesn't stop. It's like we bump heads, like literally we bump and bash heads and like being ridiculous to each other and separate. And then somehow through manipulation, Joker pulls Harley back in to this crazy world. Like she was legit a super smart psychologist person with all these awards and intelligence, and he turned her into a crazy villain. So what's up with that?
Be hitting with that. Don't get.
how can you get out of a toxic relationship?
Give us a chance, boy.
Like, so how can people get out of toxic relationship? I mean, like, what should she have done? Like, or people who even modern day, even in today's dating realm, that might be stuck in one. Like, when the cycle keeps going like that, get out. It's time to get out.
She don't want to get out.
That's true. Which is, yeah.
I mean, well, except for that time where she disappeared, so she'd go have the kid and all that other stuff. But like, I mean, she don't really want to. Doesn't really want to get out. And I think this kind of goes with one of the questions that was asked in the chat about everyone's thoughts on forced trauma relationships. Like, every time I turn around, I'm like, why? Like, I don't necessarily need them to be happy. I don't necessarily need them to be together. But like, every time we restart the cycle, I was like, okay, but we did this. Like, there's no point. I don't see the point. And after a while, like, how does this develop either one of their characters? Like, how does this really move either one of their characters forward after like the third time? Like, I really want to see a break in the cycle and then see how the characters grow from there long term, as opposed to like, yeah, we broke for a little bit, but we're back to the same song.
How they can like end that cycle, because Harley's like way too smart to be manipulated as a psychologist. Even though, I mean, I know Joker can be manipulative, but I'm just like, bitch, you got a doctorate. Like, why are you this easy to manipulate?
Emotions always trump logic in these situations.
I was gonna say he must have laid it down. That's it.
No, she got manipulated before he even laid it down. That's the thing.
It's emotions. Doesn't she have her own somewhat sad backstory? Yeah,
she do. And I think she let her work take control too much, which she needed a fucking hobby. She spent too much time in fucking Arkham with that fucking psychopath. Trying to like pick his brain and see what was wrong, because they trying to rehab him. So she was like the definite, oh, he can change, and it was just like, oh no baby, he can't change. He's like that, and I don't know if she didn't see all the signs and he just picked her apart like mentally, to where didn't hardly hit her head though. Literally, then she go crazy. I think she got abused as a child in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think she didn't like just hit her head. Like, her whole origin came from the animated series, so she was like created for the series, and she was a psychologist trying to rehab him, and she just fell and helped him break out and fell in love, quote unquote. So
we got, let me tell you 2 minutes. So
you know how I knew people would
wrap up thoughts. No, let's say just final wrap up thoughts on the couple. Go ahead.
Final wrap up thought. Look, relationships are cool. Find somebody you like. Don't be toxic. Life is short. Live a little. Don't go to the strip club together, because the strip club is the ultimate mood swinger. So either if you're really happy, you're gonna be even happier, or if you're real sad, you're gonna be even sadder. And you don't want to go through that with someone you're in a relationship with. So, yeah.
Final thoughts for me. Relationships are fine if you want them. You don't have to have a relationship to be happy. You should probably be happy with yourself beforehand. Most of these superhero couples are all doomed. There's one or two goals out there, but they kind of all suck, and we probably shouldn't be idolizing them as like relationship goals.
Relationships in superheroes and manga and stuff are trash. Don't base your life on them. Your relationship probably will end up trash. They're always one-sided. But there's somebody for everybody. So there's hope and glimmer and that stuff. If you find somebody that is intimidating in you, just realize that you may get kidnapped or die or something like that if you are in that wheelhouse of being with somebody that is stronger or more powerful than you. But you can still probably overcome and find some, plot device to bring you back together or some shit.
All right. Well, I think that's it on time. Thank y'all, my panelists. Y'all are dope. I had fun. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you want to check me out on social media, at Gamma Ray Cosplay, and hopefully I'll be able to do this panel again. I think the next one will be starting in a little bit. I think they're gonna transition us out, but yeah, this was fun.